So let's get it cracking. Rumbles in the business jungle. The LinkedIn updates.
Yeah, there's been several posts on this and stuff, and there's been several updates, and people it's quieting down a bit now, but they've been jumping around all excited because the main ones are to do with the way the algorithms, plural, present and choose data or feeds posts to show people. And they're moving away from showing stuff that's popular, like Facebook style posts, and moving on to posts which allegedly demonstrate your expertise and skill. And the same is happening apparently with comments as well. Comments won't count meaningfully towards the weight of your post unless they're in context. So things like, great post, likes and stuff won't matter so much anymore. But comments which reflect the context of the post and are themselves meaningful will. And this is all great stuff, but I don't think the danger we face here is people thinking, great, all my marketing problems are solved. I just carry on posting free value on LinkedIn and now I'll be rewarded, which may be true to some extent. But, if you're basing your livelihood and the future of your business on the continued goodwill of a multi-billion-dollar corporation, you are severely stupid. But notwithstanding that, I think if we look at the detail, we'll begin to realize it's probably ain't all we think it could be. Because the important question is not what is LinkedIn doing? It doesn't tell us much. I think the question we really need to answer is how are LinkedIn going to do this? Now, I don't know. I'm not going to pretend I understand the algorithm. But what I think we can do is draw some educated inferences, make some good guesses of how it will pan out. Question to ask ourselves is, okay, we've got probably terabytes of data, certainly gigabytes of data a day in the form of LinkedIn posts. How are they going to decide what's meaningful content and what's not meaningful content? That's the first question. It's unlikely they're going to have enough people to do it. It would require, tens of thousands of people, I suppose?
That's not financially worth it either.
No, and they'd have to be, they wouldn't just have to be bums on seats. They'd have to be educated in thousands of different topics. We'd be thinking that's all about marketing and business. Yeah, but what about other people who are selling different things? So it would require thousands of people across a wide range of disciplines, and then some commonality between them. That's unworkable. But let's ask ourselves another question. What else could they use? AI, no brainer. We know they use AI anyway in LinkedIn. Okay, so what's the most likely AI they're going to use? Well, who owns LinkedIn? Microsoft. What do AI and Microsoft have in common? How about ChatGPT 3 and 4? So my guess is, I say it's an educated guess, I could be wrong, but my educated guess is we're going to see some variation of ChatGPT 4 probably, because it's up to date, which will be responsible for marking, grading posts to see how they fit in. Well, it'll work with the comments as well. They'll do it for the comments.
Is it ChatGPT they own, or is it Bing?
OpenAI.
Is it Microsoft OpenAI?
I believe so. I don't think they own it. I think they're major investors. I don't know, but that's not the point. We know they're heavily involved.
Yeah, of course.
They'll have a lot of swags.
Absolutely. And they're in Bing anyway, which is an emerging AI.
Yeah. Well, it uses... Have you used the new Bing? It's pretty smart, actually.
No, I haven't used Bing.
It's pretty good. You can do much better searches with it. It's all very cool. But the one thing we need to remember is AI, certainly as they are at the moment, they're not intelligent in the way we understand it. What they are is fucking great big collections of rules. And, they see a string of text and they'll take the first word and they will infer from their rule books what's the second word like to be. And then given the context of those two words, what's the third word like to be, etc. So, and because they're computers and we're talking of rules which are numbered in the billions, not in the tens or the thousands or even the hundreds of thousands, but in the billions. And because they're run on massive great server farms, it happens very quickly. It looks intelligent, it's not. Now, the analogy I like to use is you can imagine we've got a book. And it's one of these books which is a little bit like the old adventure novels of the 90s and the 80s, where you get to select an action, you can go to page this, and then you get another action, right? we can think of, we have that kind of book, but this book isn't an adventure book. It's an Einstein book. And the premise of the book is, this is just a thought experiment, right? The premise of the experiment is you ask this book a question and you follow through the instructions on each page. And at the end of it, the process you get is exactly the same answer Einstein would have given if you'd asked the human being. The question then is this book intelligent? No, of course it's not. Well, that's like AI. AI is like that book, but vastly more complicated. And again, it's put together in ways I don't understand, but that's effectively what it does. So what we do know is the current AI systems, these large language models, are based on, guess what? Large amounts of language data. Where's that come from? The internet for the most part, and probably out of print books, and obviously some copyright books, which is causing all kinds of problems. But it's based on something that's already out there that exists, and we all have pretty much free access to. The problem is the quality of what we're getting from AI is, you can think of it as being like the average of what's available on the internet. Well, we know what that's like. It's average. It's not very good. Give you an example. I asked ChatGPT a question. Give me 7 ways to promote a business, to raise what? Sorry, give me 7 ways to raise my prices for a small business to raise its prices in a recession. And 6 of the 7 was, it's not bad advice. It was good advice. It worked. The 7th was a bit shit. 6 of these things would have worked, but they were very vanilla. They were the kind of things you would get from LinkedIn posts. 7 tips to grow your business. The free value stuff, give value, free PDFs and things. It's not very clever. It's not bad, but it's not very clever. The really clever stuff isn't out there in enough quantity for ChatGPT or other AI systems to pick up and say, now, this is really good advice. Well, it can't tell, can it?
No, I wouldn't be able to.
You could give it Dan Kennedy level stuff. You could give it average freelancer on LinkedIn level stuff. ChatGPT has no thinking ability to say, well, Dan's is clearly the smart stuff. This is really fucking clever. Oh my God, that's really fucking smart. That is inspired. This is just vanilla shit. There's no way for ChatGPT or any other AI system to figure that out. So what we're going to see is a vanilla beige influx of posts on LinkedIn, which the algorithms and the AI say, yeah, this is good stuff. It's not bad stuff. It's not good. And stuff that is good, like we might post our deepest, darkest secrets, won't get flagged up as being contextually relevant. ChatGPT make a thing about it.
So if I'm hearing you right, you're telling me that we're all going to be punished for being experts.
Effectively, yeah.
And those that are unable to write and already use ChatGPT, and those that are bang average and play for the crowd rather than for results,
they'll be rewarded.
So they should rejoice.
Yes.
And furthermore, those LinkedIn engagement pods might become even more insufferable, because rather than commenting great posts on each other's comments, they're now going to be leaving essays on each other's.
Written by
ChatGPT.
Right. Therein lies an even bigger problem.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think this is the most important one of all. Whereas ChatGPT, where do we get large language models? The obvious place right now is the internet, because there's fucking gigantic
social media.
As people use ChatGPT and other AIs to write more material, put it online, the AIs are then being trained by stuff from themselves and other AIs. Now they know this is a problem because they're trying to figure out ways to overcome this. That's going to be difficult. But what that then means is we've got not just vanilla, but everything is converging to a particular level of vanilla and beige, a particular level of mediocrity. It will converge. So 5 years down the line, it will be very hard to find anything meaningful like that on the internet, because it'll all be the same, created for AIs by AIs,
So basically,
this is fucking. Oh, it doesn't scare me because I know what I'm doing. I know how to sell what I'm doing to people without even touching the internet if I want to. I don't care. But for other people who don't know how to sell themselves offline, for instance, you should care very much.
So, in summary, ChatGPT is going to self-anoint them as king of the internet, because they are going to be the ones pretty much producing all of the content and ranking it, and they will therefore rank themselves the best.
Pretty much.
Fair enough. Can you hear that? There's a massive helicopter outside.
Yes. So that's LinkedIn updates and AI together. The third one is Threads. Now,
Wait, before we move on, before we move on away from that, you kind of glossed over it. If we're to extrapolate this and take it right to the extreme, fundamentally it could mean the death of internet as we know it, the death of information online, takes away any value of going off on social media, and it just becomes a playground for ChatGPT enthusiasts and ChatGPT itself. And you said that's fine for me, and that's unlikely to happen, but let's play to the extremes here. You said it doesn't matter for you because you know how to sell offline. We've been hammering this drum for so fucking long. Get off social media and learn to build a business without social media.
Absolutely.
Because if you don't, and if you can't, you don't have much of a business at all. This is why I've got so much respect for the butchers down the road that's been open 15 fucking years. Yeah. They got a Facebook page with 100 likes on that they post once a month on saying, got some new steaks in, lads.
So they made
yeah. But there's over that 15 years with no social media, they've got multiple locations now all over Hampshire. They do really fucking well. It's a proper business. Not once have they relied on social media. They're direct mail. They're managing supply chains. It's a proper honourable business. But we've got these consultants that don't know how to run, manage, and consult around business without social media. Be careful.
I saw a guy the other day saying the best way to promote your business is with some particular special kind of content. I said, well, how many other ways have you tried? Of course, he's tried none. He was like 25, 26, and he's never known the world as an adult without a large social media presence and support, doing heavy lifting for him. It's just unbelievable. These people who claim to be marketing experts, and this is the best way to do it, they've never sent a single direct mail in their life. They've probably never sent a fucking letter on paper to anyone, aunts, uncles, parents, friends, whatever, ever. Never mind a sales guy. It's fucking embarrassing. Man.
I'll tell you what, this should be a judge. This should be a test for all marketers. You sit them down with a pen, a letter, an envelope, and a stamp, and you tell them to write a letter and send it to their mother. And just watch them struggle. Watch how bad their handwriting is. Watch them struggle to fold that letter and put it into the envelope. And the funniest bit will be when they get the stamp and they go, where the fuck does this go?
To be fair, my handwriting is atrocious.
Yeah, but you're autistic.
Anyway,
you've got the card. Use it.
I have got the card, definitely. I've got a special fucking snowflake.
Use it, mate.
Not a mate to use it. So, third thing is Threads, which is pretty much moot now because I've not heard anything about it for days.
Oh, mate, it's banging.
It's banging, is it?
It's the fastest ever platform to hit 10 million, 100 million. I think it might have been 10 million concurrent users.
Here's the thing.
100 million actual sign-ups, but that's not a measure of success because...
No, I was going to say, Threads being successful is not the same as saying Threads will be useful for successful businesses. I've read a couple of articles. They're just opinion pieces, so they could be wrong. But what I would say to any business owner is thinking, getting the FOMO, fear of missing out, should I be on Threads? My question would be, do you have a successful system of selling? Not marketing, but are you able to reliably and predictably take a prospect and reliably and predictably convert them to a profitable sale? If you can't, then no, you want to stay off Threads and everything else until you can do that. Mm-hmm. And it won't matter that you're not in at the beginning. It really won't, because any benefit to be gained from being an early adopter of Threads went in the first 10 or 20 minutes, probably.
Yeah.
It's like the koi carp thing. Certainly within the first couple of days. I know, for instance, there are different platforms, but I know there are 10-year-olds on YouTube making 2 or 3 million a year. Yeah. But once they're doing it now, well, they're the only ones who will ever be doing it. It won't happen again. In the same way as you won't get another Microsoft or another Amazon, because that moment has passed. So this idea of, well, look at what these people did, then model their success is absurd. You know, the world, in doing what they've done, they changed the world to make what they've done either impossible or very difficult to do again. All right? It's the same with Oracle. It's the same with Amazon. It's the same with Apple. It's the same with Microsoft. Certainly within a human lifetime, these things won't happen again. Alibaba, they won't happen again. Not in the same way.
What's the koi carp thing? I've never heard of that.
Koi carp, you get koi carp in a pond. They're all almost the same size. One might have a tiny 1% advantage, but it gets a bit more food and gets bigger. Well, as soon as that size difference becomes meaningful, we get one fucking gigantic koi carp, and the rest are either eaten or very small and hiding.
Oh, okay.
You know? But it's that very small. It's always chaotic. A very small change in input creates a massive change in output at the other end.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right. And in hindsight, these things are evident and obvious and predictable in hindsight, if that makes sense. But looking forwards, well, this is why we have so many failed startups, so many failed websites, so many failed this, so many failed that, because we don't really know what makes something effectively go viral. I mean, you can think of Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, Oracle as going viral in a way. They became the biggest players. Won't happen again.
Yeah.
You know? It's not predictable. It's not controllable.
I do think Threads will do well, though.
Threads might do well. I'm not saying Threads won't do well. What I'm saying, there's no guarantee that by being on Threads, you will do well. And if you don't have a sales system, you shouldn't even be thinking about it.
That goes back to the 5 ones.
Absolutely.
Which is the easiest way to kind of focus any unfocused business owner who feels like they've got some deficits and some shortcomings they need to overcome. And the 5 ones, I tend to forget all 5, but it's one lead source. That doesn't have to be social media. You can get really good at sending fucking postcards.
Or knocking on doors.
Is it one lead magnet? I think it's one lead magnet. So, but it doesn't have to be just one, but it's like one style. Get really good at writing white papers, get really good at webinars, get really good at PDFs, VSLs, just get really good at something. One conversion mechanism. So get really good at being on the phone or writing sales pages, whether that's printed or on the website. One offer. Yeah, I've got it. This is spot on. Have one offer, one sort of core offer, rather than trying to go and develop a bunch of new products and services. Stick to that for 1 year, and your business will be built on far stronger foundations, and you'll actually have a skill set rather than being a jack of all trades where you're kind of a little bit decent at everything. You become very good at 5 essential segments of your business.
Yeah.
Follow that, and I'm pretty sure even the stupidest of freelancers could hit 10K a month, and even the wealthiest businesses that are struggling to make a sales breakthrough are struggling to get a grip on social media, because bigger companies tend to feel like they do have to be everywhere all at once at all times. I see this a lot in construction companies. They've got an Instagram page, a Twitter page. All of this, it's usually run by one of the MD's children or one of the younger, prettier females in the company, who is usually a receptionist or an admin girl, and they are now the de facto social media person. And no one knows what they're doing. It's blind leading the blind, but hey, we're a big company, so we've got to be everywhere.
Yeah, I've been doing some compiling of lists, as you know, for outreach. And I've got a methodology for doing it, or a method for doing it. And I look at these, and these businesses are usually over 1 million, between 1 and 5 million. So they're not tiny little local businesses. They're quite substantial construction businesses, some of them with several properties, several sites around the north or wherever. And most of them, their websites are atrocious. It's like about us, meet the team. And they've got their, like, our Instagram, our Facebook page, our Twitter thing. And I just for the sake of research, just to get a handle on what they're doing, I went through to their Facebook page. I can't see much because I don't have a Facebook account, and I'm not creating one, just to see these things. and they're mostly out of date, and they're just shit. I mean, seriously, if you are selling, say you're in construction and you do resin floors, and maybe your prices you charge for this, for say a bunch of warehouses, you may be talking, you must be talking tens of thousands. I guarantee, I feel comfortable. I would risk my life on this. Okay, seriously, I can pretty much guarantee no one in the entire existence of the resin flooring business ever went to a firm to spend tens of thousands of pounds to get floors done from a Facebook page. I would put money on that. It doesn't happen. I mean, it may have happened once in the entire existence of the universe, but it doesn't happen. Now, Cal Newport talks about this, and we're going to get it jumping ahead a little bit. So I'll just say one thing. Cal Newport talks about this. I think he calls it marginal utility.
Yeah, he does.
Is that the words he used? I think
yeah.
He basically means, okay, yeah, you might miss out on some business at some point, but is the possibility maybe of getting some business from this one social media platform in 10 years, is it really worth spending even an hour a week on it? No, it isn't.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, it's not ego so much as FOMO.